Football fans, what is happening to Brazil right now feels like a never-ending curse. Every time Carlo Ancelotti announces his squad, injuries come rushing in as if they were part of the game plan. This time, with the friendlies against South Korea and Japan on the horizon, Brazil is once again facing a storm of injuries that has left fans deeply concerned. The Seleção's dream squad is turning into a patchwork of last-minute changes, with big names missing and fresh doubts hanging over the team's readiness. Let's break down the full story, because it's quite dramatic. Before Ancelotti even revealed his squad, he already had a massive headache on his hands. The injury list was long, and unfortunately, it included several key players who are usually automatic starters for Brazil. 6 of them stood out as the biggest absentees: Alexandro, Everton Ribeiro, young star André Santos, Neymar Jr, goalkeeper Alisson Becker, and winger Raphinha. And to make things worse, Brazil also had to leave out their defensive leader, Marquinhos, another huge blow to the team's balance. That's right, Neymar, Alisson, Raphinha, and Marquinhos, 4 of Brazil's most trusted names, were all unavailable. Imagine losing your captain, your star forward, your first-choice goalkeeper, and one of your most creative wingers all at once. For any national team, that would be devastating. For Brazil, a country where expectations are sky-high, it feels like a disaster. Yet Carlo Ancelotti had no choice. He went ahead and announced the squad without them, hoping that at least the rest of his lineup would remain healthy. But Brazil's bad luck did not stop there. Soon after the squad announcement, more trouble arrived. 2 more players were suddenly struck by injuries, creating even more uncertainty. The unlucky duo, Gabriel Magalhães and Vanderson. Let's start with Gabriel Magalhães. The Arsenal defender had been included in the squad, but disaster struck during a Champions League match. He picked up an injury, leaving both Arsenal and Brazil worried. At this moment, no official recovery update has been released. The medical team is monitoring him closely. If Gabriel can recover in time before Brazil's matches, Ancelotti will keep him in the squad. But if the update shows he won't be fit within the next few days, then sadly, he will be dropped. And then there's Vanderson. His case is almost identical. He is also battling an injury picked up right after the squad was named. The message from Ancelotti is clear: recover quickly or be replaced. For both Gabriel Magalhães and Vanderson, the next few days will decide their fate. It almost feels like a curse, doesn't it? Just think about it. Before the squad announcement, 6 big players were already ruled out with injuries. Then, right after the announcement, 2 more got hurt. Fans are calling it Brazil's injury festival, because every time the Seleção announces a squad, new injuries appear out of nowhere. It has become a frustrating pattern that Ancelotti cannot ignore. But it's not all bad news. Amidst the storm, there's at least one piece of positive news for Brazil fans. Éder Militao is back. Yes, after months of frustration and repeated injuries, the Real Madrid defender is finally ready to wear the yellow shirt again. Militao's return is a huge boost to the defensive line, especially with Marquinhos out. His presence brings experience, physical strength, and leadership at the back, qualities Brazil desperately needs in these tough times. Another major relief for fans is the availability of Real Madrid's attacking duo, Vinícius Jr and Rodrygo. After their own fitness concerns earlier this year, both players are now fully fit and ready to shine for Brazil. Their inclusion means that, at least in attack, Ancelotti can still rely on creativity, pace, and that typical Brazilian flair. With Neymar sidelined, Vinícius and Rodrygo are now carrying the hopes of millions. However, not everyone was so lucky. Manchester United's winger Antony has once again missed out on selection. For the young attacker, this is another painful chapter in what has been a tough season. Despite his talent, his form and consistency have not convinced Ancelotti, and with so much competition for places, Antony was left out. For him, it's back to the drawing board, and perhaps another chance in the future. So where does this leave Brazil? On one hand, the squad still has incredible talents like Vinícius, Rodrygo, Militao, and several other rising stars. On the other hand, the absence of Neymar, Alisson, Raphinha, and Marquinhos is too big to ignore. Against teams like South Korea and Japan, who have improved massively over the last decade, Brazil cannot afford to take things lightly. Carlo Ancelotti knows this better than anyone. This friendly doubleheader is not just about results. It's about preparation. Brazil is heading toward the World Cup qualifiers and, ultimately, the 2026 World Cup itself. Every match matters. Ancelotti wants to build a balanced team, give opportunities to new players, and test different tactical setups. But when half of your star names are injured, those plans are shaken to the core. Yet, history shows that Brazil often thrives in chaos. When big names go missing, new heroes step up. That's the spirit of the Seleção. Fans remember tournaments where unexpected players became stars simply because they were given a chance. Maybe this time, too, a new name will rise from the shadows and prove his worth. Still, the question remains, how long can Brazil survive this injury nightmare? With Neymar still battling his recovery, with Alisson sidelined, with Marquinhos unavailable, and with others in doubt, the pressure is piling up. The matches against South Korea and Japan may be friendlies on paper, but for Brazil, they feel like tests of resilience. Football is unpredictable, and Brazil knows that better than anyone. The only certainty right now is uncertainty itself. Fans will be waiting anxiously for updates on Gabriel Magalhães and Vanderson, while praying that no more names join the ever-growing injury list. So, as Brazil prepares to face South Korea and Japan, one thing is clear. This is not the squad Ancelotti dreamed of, but it is the squad he has. And sometimes, in football, adversity brings out the best in a team. Will this injury-hit Brazil rise above the setbacks, or will the curse continue? The next matches will tell us everything.